This episode is sponsored by the Fairfax Football Academy, the best QB training and development in all of Northern Virginia. Follow on Instagram at Fairfax Football Academy. You'll be happy that you did. All right, welcome back to All Hitches, America's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, what's up, buddy?
Well, I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm waiting for Devontae Adams to get traded, but aside from that, I'm doing pretty good.
Maybe get a big haul for him, right? I mean, although what do you get for a receiver? What are you hoping at for, like a third at best?
No, what? You see, what am I hoping for? Not what a realistic. I'm a very unrealistic person. Okay, I'm hoping for a top pick in the draft. I'll say this, and I think all football fans out there, I mean, whether it's college, pro, or high school, everyone appreciates these kind of conversations around the trade deadline. I would do it as much as I don't like the Chiefs. I would trade Devontae to our rival for their first round pick. Their first round pick will be the last pick of the draft, more than likely. Bottom three. It's almost a second round pick, right?
You're gonna trade him in division?
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Chiefs are gonna go. Raiders are rebuilding. Well, what would it matter to the Raiders? Right? It wouldn't matter.
I don't know. I thought that was a rule. I think you trade him inside the division.
Well, I lived through the Marcus Allen era. Remember that?
Was he traded or did he sign?
Ooh, he signed. He
signed, right?
He signed. But still, yeah, it's just dirty. It's dirty.
Did I read a story that there was a chance that Joe Montana, after the Chiefs, was going to go play for the Steelers?
Wow, I mean, hometown guy.
Hometown guy, yeah. So that'd have been interesting.
John Elway should have been a Raider. So don't get me started on all that stuff. They have a whole documentary based on that.
They did.
Yeah, they do.
But there's no way Pete Rozelle is letting Al Davis get John Elway.
Nope, not at all. Especially those Raider teams were good.
Yeah,
you know. Well, buddy, speaking of good, we got a good week, okay? And you and I saw this coming. We felt the sweet land of liberty coming. And that's what has arrived, buddy. What do you think? It's looking like a pretty good week, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we have two games in particular that are going to cause some separation, because it seems like they've all been jockeying for position, right? But down the home stretch are coming, right, neck and neck.
Yep.
Jockeys are on the back of getting the switch on the back of the horses, trying to get them to go, and we're gonna see who's gonna pull around. I mean, because I think we talked before about how big a district game is, right? Because it puts you not just up a game, but essentially up 2 games because you have the head-to-head win over them.
Right. Yeah, here they come, man.
Yeah.
And look out. Out. I mean, it's a race. It's like a 5-team race over there in Liberty.
It is. And
well, I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if Wakefield knocks somebody off.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree. Wakefield, freaking good. That Liberty, man. That's how they do Player of the Year. If they did Division of the Year, or Conference of the Year, they might win Conference of the Year.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the last game, right? For district champs and that.
Yeah. I mean, it's not give us your poor, your tired, your huddled masses. It's give us your great tacklers, your hitters, your throwers. Yeah. Give us all that stuff. Freaking Statue of Liberty. All right.
I mean, is there anybody that if I said a name in the Liberty, you'd be like, no way they win Liberty? I mean, is there any team that I can name
that can't win the conference?
That if I said I'm going to pick Team X, whatever the team is, just insert a name. Just think of a name. And I said I picked that team in Liberty, where you'd be like, no.
Yeah, I mean, only Wakefield because the hole's kind of dug already.
Yeah.
But to ask me that a year from now, because I think Wakefield is on its way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree.
Well, I mean, a lot of good matchups, and without further ado, right? We're working on my French. Speaking of Lady Liberty, wasn't that a gift from the French? Look at that.
It was. Look at that.
Yeah, you like that tie-in? I still got it. Well, without further ado, let's get into it, and we will have a guest joining us in a little while. We got the great Carl Frederick. He is the Adam Schefter of Nova, as we all know.
And the Lake Braddock announce team, you cannot use that term on your broadcast. I don't know who you think you are to get away with infringing on our copyrights, but this injustice will not stand. It will not stand.
Will not stand, sir. And we are excited to be able to bring. It's been a while since we've had Carl on the show, actually.
Yeah. We haven't been able to sync up with him, but
right. So this is going to be a fun little reunion, little 1 month reunion of sorts.
It is. It's gonna be special. We're gonna. It's like the '80s episode, right, where it says special guest star.
Yeah, that's right.
You got to do one of these. Turn around, look at the camera.
Like the Love Boat. Well, let's get into it now. I mean, while we're waiting for our man Carl, let's get into maybe the game of the week. We said it last week. We said, one of these weeks, and we weren't even peeking ahead when we said it. No. Langley's going to lead off the Fab Five. We weren't cheating. We didn't even know it.
Oh.
Well, guess what, my friend? Langley is leading off the Fab Five. Marshall at Langley. What do you got for us, buddy?
Oh, I mean, it's a huge game. Battle. I mean, if you like running, if you like the run game, this is the game. This is a game for you. You have a couple of ground and pound offenses going at each other. I mean, it's going to be a lot of smash mouth. Might be a little misty, a little rainy out there. I mean, this is what football's made for, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got the Rock coming back.
Yeah.
You got Rockovitz. You got Marshall's freaking option.
Yeah.
You got the ground and pound of Langley.
Yeah.
I mean, you got tough defensive coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, you got everything you could ask for. Now, some things. I mean, you got Sandberg over there at Langley. Could he be an X factor?
Yeah. I mean, he's probably the big one. I mean, his ability to do both run and pass over there at Langley's going to be huge for them. I'm excited to see what they're going to look like over there.
Yeah, and Marshall with these scores, right? I mean, just turning it out, all these big scores. Will they be able to do it against a team like Langley?
Right, and this is another big test for them, right? Big test, district test. It's gonna be interesting to see. I don't anticipate this game being a high scoring game. I can see this game being 21-14, somewhere in that range. I think it's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, no, I think so. Is that our man? Is our man on the scene? Adam Schefter of Nova joining us.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
There we go.
How you guys doing, man?
Good.
We're just breaking down Langley Marshall. You got it. What do you got on that? You got anything for us?
Cole Sandberg is, I feel like playing. He got one of my game balls this week. I've been, like I was telling you guys, I've been moving all week, and you guys know this. Moving is not fun, so I'm just getting caught up. But Cole Sandberg is playing as good as any quarterback I've seen in Northern Virginia, and he's not being talked about enough. I'm really impressed with his work over at Langley. I mean, they've had a lot of, you guys know the off-field issues for the season, but they're cruising right now. And, Marshall's been a nice surprise too. Is that the matchup you're talking about?
Yeah, that's our game of the week. That we think that's probably going to lead off with the best game of the week.
Yeah. I mean, I saw Marshall 2 weeks ago for a half against Madison, and they gave Madison a little scare, but then Madison really, put their foot down and controlled like 2.5 quarters of that game. So I don't know. I mean, they were still very impressive last week against McLean. I mean, going against Langley, it's a tough task. I could see why you thought that would be the game of the week. I mean, that's probably a pretty even matchup. I would say Langley is about a 1-score favorite, but again, you guys see my picks every week, so they're not the best. So take that for what it's worth.
Well, I think that the big thing though is that you're going to have if Marshall doesn't win, Langley's going to have essentially a 3-game lead over them, a 3-game lead with about 4 to play, and that's big. That's big for them because Marshall has a loss to Madison. If they lose to Langley, it's going to put them at 2 losses. Langley will still be undefeated and will have the head-to-head tiebreaker for them.
Right. And Marshall, they need this. I mean, they had a nice bounce back against McLean last week. They got a lot of good pieces offensively. I mean, they got some dudes up front. That was their key in that Madison game. They were winning those matchups up front, the 1-1 matchups. But then Madison, woke up and controlled the rest of that game really up front. I mean, I'm sure you guys are going to talk about Madison Warhawks defense possibly being the best defense in Virginia. I'm sure that was on the docket tonight. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
That's why you're here, buddy. That's why you're going to talk a little Madison in a little while. We're going to get you talking about that.
Awesome.
But who would have thought? Think about this for a second, right? So rewind a little bit. Langley I was watching. I was just on social media on Friday night after all the games, and good old Matt Hatfield. I mean, Hatfield's hits. He had Langley as one of his hits, 5 takeaways. They're leading our, Fab Five of the week. I mean, Coach Pottinger and that Langley team, they're kind of living the dream. They're the Cinderella team.
I know. It's been, they took down Herndon earlier this year, and I'm telling you, Sandberg he's playing really well. I'm really impressed with his tape, and he's been really flawless so far. He's taking care of the football. The Saxons are for real.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good story. It's been fun, and Marshall too. Marshall's kind of their own Cinderella, man. So,
exactly.
like I said, this really is game of the week material. I'm looking forward, and it could be for Liberty supremacy.
Yeah, you guys said it there. If Langley wins, they take a 3-game lead. Is that correct?
Yeah, they'll have a 3-game lead over Marshall. So then the only team between them and, well, there'll be 2, right? It'll be WNL and Yorktown.
Yeah, and there's one specifically. You just said it. Let's get into that one. And game 2, on our Fab Five, WNL at Herndon, another Liberty battle.
Yeah, and I think Herndon's in a very similar scenario as Marshall, where Herndon can't afford to lose this game, because of where it's going to put them at for a district title. Now, I still think Herndon's a playoff football team, but I do think that just if their goal is to win a district title, much like Lake Braddock last week, needing that win over Fairfax in order to keep their district title alive. I think the same thing can be said for Herndon, and Herndon's kind of up and down. It seems like a little bit offensively. It seems like either they're scoring in bunches or they're having some issues. So I think that should be a pretty good game. And unlike the other game, this is going to be a contrast of styles, right? You're going to have that high flying passing attack at WNL with Matthew Abramson going against the option attack at Herndon.
Yeah, little Abramson versus Gallo.
Yeah, Carl, you got anything for us?
And don't forget Herndon's defense. They've had their struggles at times offensively. It's been a little inconsistent, like Coach said, but their defense is still one of the top in the conference. That's for sure. They have Braden Humphreys, who's having an outstanding year. They got a couple other pieces defensively, but they've already pitched 2 shutouts on the season, and they took care of South Lakes last week out in Reston. That was a very impressive win. So Matthew Abramson for WNL, he's playing as well as anybody there in Northern Virginia quarterback position. Johnny Callow's having a great year.
Yeah,
that's a fun matchup. That would be one of my fearless forecasts. That's going to be one of my picks. So,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you talk about the chess match, right? You talk about the defense of Herndon. The Buddy Ryan defense of Coach Josh Richards, and then going against the mad scientist, Bobby Ludwig, Mike Marks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You dropped the Buddy Ryan reference. I can't believe that.
I love Buddy Ryan's good. The good old 46 defense, baby.
Well, last year, the final score was 38-37. So it looks like WNL had found some things to work against a really stout, well coached defense over at Herndon. And to drop 38-37, a 1-point game.
But Herndon won that game.
Herndon won that game, but to drop 37 on them is going to be big. So I'm curious, what the counterpunch is going to be this way. The things that worked last year, are they going to work this year? What is that going to actually look like for them?
Well, and
even more, it's Coach. As I was saying this too, like looking at WNL, they've just been, they're averaging over 45 points a game offensively to start this year. They've just been humming. This will be the best defense they've faced all year, though. This is a fun matchup. It should be rocking over in Herndon.
Well, so I think what the key matchup is going to be, though, is I think we can all agree that the Herndon defense and the WN offense are probably going to have their points here and there because of probably the strength of their 2 teams. So the question is how is the Herndon offense going to do against the WO defense, right? That's going to be the really key matchup, right? So whichever one of those squads win out of that one, I think is going to have a really big, big advantage in winning that game.
Well, and to your point, bringing up last year, they scored 38 points, and that I'm going to go ahead and venture outside of any, kind of maybe some lower tier opponents. That's probably the most points that Herndon put up last year. So are they going to be able to find the same success that they did against WNL a year ago?
Last year they scored quite a bit. They scored 45 against Wakefield, 63 against Osborne
Yeah,
Park. 5 against,
that's why I said against top tier.
Yeah.
I mean, WNL was a one loss team a year ago.
Yeah. So I mean,
I mean, Osborne Park and those teams weren't on that scale.
yeah, but on the flip side too, that was the most points that they gave up all year, other than Madison. Madison was last year. That was where they went two people to get over. No, there's one other game. Only team to score above 30 against them were those
Wow.
two teams last year. So
well, I mean, it's going to be a slugfest. So two, count them two. Let's play two Liberty slugfests.
Give us Liberty or give us death, right?
That's right.
You talk about Lake Braddock and Fairfax. Yeah, I know I didn't get the write-up over to you, but that was a fun game to cover last week. You guys got a lot of compliments when I was there too.
Hey, I like to hear that. You know what? If I may, forget about the game. Talk about the compliments.
Oh, I mean, that broadcast they do over there with Lake Braddock, those kids there, they do a great job. They came up to me and they talked. They love the show. They listened to it, and I told them, when they said, "Oh, the Adam Schefter of Northern Virginia football is on with us," and I told them that was your guys, and they had to give you proper credence for that. They were laughing. That was a good time.
No, they're a couple of good kids. We like Coach Lagoon's been an excellent freshman coach over there as well. So I mean.
Oh yeah, he sent me a nice message afterwards. That was really nice of him.
No, he's
I came on there briefly.
We like him. He's a friend of the pod.
That's a good crew. That's the Frank and Alan Dan of Nova High School right there, buddy.
He sent me a nice message. But they do a great job over there. I mean, Lake Braddock. I'm trying to get to every school this year. I kind of have like this grading system I have with like the atmosphere, concessions, and all that stuff goes into it. Lake Braddock, they tested high. I had a great time, especially being on the radio.
Yeah, and I would say this actually to anyone, any big wigs, any higher ups that are listening, man, do that. Do what Lake Braddock is doing. I mean, so many kids want to be media majors now and sports media majors.
Heck yeah.
Find a couple students, who want to be sports media majors. Find a trusted teacher, coach, whatever. Put them in the box, use Lake Braddock as the model. That's a fantastic model they're doing.
Yeah, no, it's great.
No, I agree,
right.
100%.
Well, now this very similar to a week ago, where I said if I would have told you, a month ago, 2 months ago, that this game was not number one on the marquee, you would have thought I was crazy, my friend. But here we are, Madison at South County, third on the list. Carl, the platform is yours, my friend. What do you got for us?
Well, we got a couple of teams kind of trending in different directions, to be honest with you. You guys know all about South County with their injuries and, players being out, some long-term, some short-term. It's been a struggle for the Stallions, and it's unfamiliar territory. They've already have 3 losses under their belt, including last week's shellacking to Hayfield, where they were blanked 63-0. I expect the Stallions to have a lot more, not a lot, but to be healthier this week. And to bring in Madison into that raucous crowd over in Lorton. It's in South County, right? I did read that correctly.
It is.
Yeah. But Madison's guys, just as you guys know, they've just been humming along all year. There was maybe before the season, not quite the expectation because they had so many kids graduating from last year's team, but they've been humming along both offensively and defensively. Like I pointed out, they have one of the best defenses in Virginia. That's not an exaggeration. So I mean, South County's going to have to take care of the football. I know they'll have my guy Tyler Orth. He's stepping up under center, with the injury to Miska, and who's out for the season. And he's an all-state receiver, and he's a great athlete, and he makes plays. He's just, they're going to have to take care of the football. I mean, and Madison defensively, they hunt. They're looking for turnovers. they're getting after the quarterback. They do everything well defensively. They tackle well. They cover well. They get after the quarterback. It's a fun matchup, I would say, but it's two teams trending in different directions right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see this the 11 Angry Men, right? This Madison defense, led by Jackson. Is it Jackson Ambrose?
Yes, Ambrose is playing as well as any linebacker in the conference. He is playing out of his mind.
Reminds me of young Brian Urlacher. I mean, he's freaking stud.
Good comp. Okay. Yeah, they got studs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they really do. But it's a test, right? This is, I mean, Madison, obviously they're a good team, but Madison beat Chantilly last week. This is a step above. I mean, Orth is a special kind of athlete. I know Orth was just at JMU, did a little visit there at JMU. So he's a stud, man. He's going to give him fits. I think he's going to test him out.
Oh yeah, I mean Orth is an all-state receiver. I've worked many times. I'm a big fan of his work. He's a great kid too, and he's stepping up to the plate with all the injuries at quarterback, and he's doing what he can. He makes plays. He's an athlete, and I saw it a couple weeks ago when West Springfield came to town. He made plays with both his arms and his legs, so he's going to have to, take care of the football, not turn it over. But South County has some other guys offensively that are playing really well. My guy, Steve Caroma. The running back, he's stepping up as a senior. He's having a really good year, and he's a kid who's bid his time, hasn't played a ton, but he's come into his senior year and he stepped up in the starting role, and he's on pace to have 1,000 yards on the season. So they got him. They got and South County too. I mean, they're still. I mean, last week aside, they're still an excellent defensive squad. Hunter Malachi, he's going. He's a Division I prospect, great kid. He gets after the quarterback. So they're no joke defensively. I know last week wasn't, what anybody wanted to see, but I think they'll bounce back nicely this week.
Yeah, a couple other guys. I mean, our guy, Travion Campbell, who'd been tearing it up, really, the first few weeks.
He catches everything. That dude catches everything.
You said Hunter. And you said Hunter Malachi. I mean, you got a couple guys that are just studs. And there's an offensive lineman, or a couple linemen I want to give credit to. So you got you got a DB. First, we'll start there. Aaron Bangura? He's a stud.
Yeah, he's playing really. Yeah, Bangura's playing really well. And they've been at times, even like the West Springfield game, which was a good win for them. They played that game without 10 defensive starters, and they've had to make do. And coach staff has done a great job with what they have. It's going to kind of be like that the rest of the year. I mean, they should get guys like Jordan Muhani, who's playing really well at them on the offensive line. They should get him back. Trent Brooks, on the defensive line, he's still playing well. He should be back here soon. I mean, the Stallions, have rough sledding through the first half of their season, but they could, if they can knock off Madison, who is just humming along right now, they'll be right back in the thick of things.
Oh, that'd be a statement, wouldn't it? And I mean, I can't go because I know Mesa's requested this, and I'm going to give it to him. Don't forget our guy, Big Ahmed Nofel. Okay, Big Ahmed Nofel, the big lineman, O-lineman, gave up 0 sacks, 0 pressures last week against Fairfax. Okay, 1 pancake.
The center, right?
Yeah, buddy. That's
Mr. Chop.
That's what you wanted, Mesa. You wanted a lineman. You wanted lineman stats, Mesa. I gave it to you, buddy.
Yeah, like Carl was saying, though, it's a tough stretch for South County. The 2 games back to back, and also I think you could use as a measuring stick on Madison and Hayfield, right? I mean, because these are the two. These are the 1 and 2 in our rankings. We saw Hayfield did to South County. How is Madison going to measure up against South County, right?
That's a good point. That's a good point. We'll see how that friends. Were you guys at that game last week, Hayfield, South County? Did you get a vibe on that at all?
We were in the warm confines of our houses.
Yeah,
watching on NFHS.
that lame hurricane, pre-hurricane, put a kind of damper on things.
So we got to watch some games, and I watched a little bit of the Hayfield South County game, and then I stopped watching a little bit of the Hayfield.
I would, since we're in the right now, requesting things. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there too. NFHS. Now, if you're listening, do a package where you can pay a few more bucks, and we could have kind of like the Sunday ticket where I can do unlimited streams. So that it'd be nice to have like a bunch of games on at one time.
Yeah, it would help us out a ton. Even if it's limit to you have to have the same IP address. Do that, but right. Make it nice to be able to watch that.
Yeah,
buddy.
I want to talk about getting back to this game on Madison, because we're talking a lot about South County, and rightfully so. Madison is humming along, and offensively, a lot of people know about Dominic Nisley going to Coastal Carolina, and he's having a great year as a senior running back, and he's making plays at receiver. I could see him playing a lot of receiver at the next level. But Cale Yates, he was great last year. He's better this year. He's better than he was last year. I think I would say that. He's faster. He's stronger. He's more accurate. He made some plays in that game I saw 2 weeks ago. He's playing really well.
Yeah. Yates is the guy, man. That's Madison royalty right there.
I think when we talked to we had our segment coming up on Chad Ricardo show. I think we talked about him when we were on there. But yeah, no, he looks fantastic, and it helps to have a really good quarterback there in the backfield with Nicely.
That, my friend, is what they call a tease in the business. And we're gonna.
I wonder with Yates too. Like he's making a lot of impressive throws that I didn't see out of him last year too. And not only do they have, Nisley playing really well. Harry Lewis, I've talked about him before. Good young tight end for them. 6'3", 205 pounds. He had a nice touchdown in their game against Marshall. He's a player. We'll see how the Warhawks are. They keep trending this way. This season could stay a perfect record, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And the development I think you're seeing, like with Yates at quarterback. Madison has a rock solid coaching staff who know how to develop. It's the proof of the pudding, right? The fact that year in and year out they can lose kids, they can not lose kids, and they just kind of keep on rolling. So I think that
right.
to the coaches over at Madison.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Now, moving on. Before I do, though, a couple things. One, Carl, you're going to want to stick around for at least one more game, if not for a couple more games. You're more than welcome. But this next one, no, you're going to want to stick around for this one because I know you are an expert in all things PW, and we're heading out there in a second. Before I do that, Coach Mesa just teased it, so I'm going to go ahead and let it be known. We had some big news to share to everyone out there, and I'd like to say, join your All Hitches crew, Coach Mesa and Coach Dash, as we make a special appearance on Fox's national streaming platform, Fox Local. Yeah, this coming Saturday, the debut of Chad Ricardo's new Fox show, Loud AF. All right, that show's debuting this Saturday, talking about all the games, and he's going to have us come on and kind of do a quick little primer on some things going on in Nova football. And well, we are very excited, and Chad Ricardo is he's the man in the DMV.
Oh yeah, he's that guy, sports. Man. He sounds like a good dude. That's pretty cool. So this is Saturday. Are you going like in the studio, or how did you say? How's that going to work? Are they like you guys calling in, or how's that working?
Yeah, he was going to give us some questions, and we were going to kind of answer those, and then but we did talk about making this a recurring thing, and in the future maybe going live or kicking it to us live or however we're going to do it.
Okay.
We are
cool.
very excited.
That's awesome. Congrats on that.
People like us. People actually like us.
That's awesome, guys. Congrats on that.
Yeah, appreciate that. We do appreciate that. And tune in to Loud AF on Saturdays with Chad Ricardo on Fox Local.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Here's the one, and this one made for. This was a Mesa request. We debated. We were kind of deliberating before the show, and I said, Mesa, I don't know about this. Mesa says no. Mesa stood on his laurels. He said no. this is the game. I'm telling you, keep an eye on this one. Garfield at Colgan.
Yeah, I think this is
okay.
this is going to be a key matchup, right, in the Cardinal district. Colgan's playing some really good football, and so is Garfield. I think this is going to be pretty. I think we talked before about someone's got to fill that Freedom void. As we saw, Freedom is not Freedom anymore, based on what Garfield did to them last week. So I'm really excited to see these two teams and kind of see where they're at. I think they both have some really good playmakers. With a couple of former player of the weeks there, the two quarterbacks going at each other. I think you should see some fireworks go off that game. I know that you like quite a few of the athletes they have over at Garfield, didn't you, Carl?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fun matchup, and both of those teams coming into this game 2-2. It's really, this is the type of game. Whoever wins is on the, kind of in the driver's seat at the halfway point of the season to, make the playoffs. And in Colgan's case, they could be, if they get this win Friday night, it puts them at 3-2. They still have games coming up, I believe, against, in games they should be favorites against like Hilton, Potomac Senior, Woodbridge, Freedom. This is a really good opportunity for Colgan and Coach Scott to get the Sharks to the playoffs for the first time in school history. Garfield, under Coach Edmonds, they're battling. They had a nice bounce back win over Freedom. As you guys just alluded to, I believe it was like 59-0 at halftime. And we've talked about the struggles at Freedom with, and it's been well documented. It was going to be a rebuild for quite some time. So we'll see what Coach Wrong can do over there. But Garfield's playing well. Troy Hamlin, the quarterback, he's firmly under center. I mean, the game I was at a couple weeks ago, where Gainesville came to town and kind of, got after them a good bit, I wasn't too impressed, but I know Garfield has athletes all over the field, and they hopefully will get some guys back defensively for this one. But I think Colgan is the better team. I mean, it's a fun game, but I think Colgan on paper is the better team, to be honest with you.
It'll be interesting. I think I know it doesn't always work out like, well, this team played that team well, and that team should beat this team because they played them. I know it doesn't always work that way, but I know Garfield, gave Braddock all they could handle.
Right.
Maybe even got the better of Braddock in the preseason finale, and then Colgan. I know that they played Braddock tight as well for a half. I remember that for week 1.
Right.
Well, and last year it was a one touchdown game. It was 21-14, the game against. And as a matter of fact, Garfield came out on top of Colgan in that game. So I think
I covered that game last year. It was a back and forth game, a lot of turnovers, but Garfield did come out with that one victory. It was a very bizarre game. I remember that. A lot of turnovers, a lot of questionable calls by the officials, but Garfield came on top last year. And Garfield knows that too. They know they have possible psychological advantage because Colgan has never been to the dance. Garfield has. It's been a minute, but they have. And they have, when you have guys like Herman Jackson, who's one of the best running backs in the Cardinal, not just the district, but in Virginia that nobody talks about. Yeah. He's the type of player that you guys have seen. If he just needs one little hole, and it could be for 70 yards, could be for 80 yards, could be for 40 yards. He has that, in my opinion, Division I speed. He can, if he gets the corner, he's gone. So, but Colgan, they're playing really well defensively. They got L.J. Richards at linebacker. He's a stud. He averages like 10 tackles a game. They got a good D lineman up front, and Kyber Foster. We talked about him, at length. He's an undersized D tackle, but he makes their D line go. So the Sharks got a good defense, and it'll be rocking out there in Manassas. If I heard you correctly, you said you guys are making that long trip over there. You'll have fun. Colgan draws a great crowd. It's a great atmosphere.
Well, I'll say this though, and I believe that Herman Jackson was a previous Player of the Week award winner.
No, it was Hamlin. It was Hamlin. It was the two quarterbacks.
Hamlin.
You're right. It was Hamlin.
And Hamlin in the Hall.
But we have given Jackson some love on the show. I know that because I've many times I sat here in this chair and I've said, paging Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk because he has torn it up and he is a good running back.
Yeah. The other thing for Colgan, it's been feast or famine. Either they've blown out a team or they've
Yeah.
gotten blown out in their 4 games. So either they got blown out by Braddock and by Stafford, and then they beat up on Osborne and Freedom. Oh, not Freedom. Osborne and oh man, I just lost it. It was
Osborne Park, right?
Yeah, it was Osborne Park and Osborne Park, the Osbornes. So they have a couple wins. They have the win over the Osbornes, and not Harry, not Harry Osborne or Norman Osborne, not the Green Goblin, but Osborne.
Or William Defoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it's. Looking at it, like it's just where like Colgan was at last year at this time. You know, they kind of, sort of, but not really hung around with the big dogs in Lake Braddock and Stafford, but they beat up on Osborne and Osborne Park. It's the same thing this year. So, you know, coming in this matchup, it's a true test of Colgan's mettle. If they're legit, they got to knock off a team like Garfield. That's, you know, they don't care about the Colgan's ever been in the playoffs in school history. You know, the Red Wolves, you know, they think they're a playoff squad too. So it's a big game for, you know, both schools. And
yeah,
I mean, it's a fun matchup. If you guys go out there, Colgan's fan base is awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think we are going out there. In fact, I will be at another game. I will be at the Woodson Lake Braddock game this week. But I think the game we were talking about going out to is eventually when Patriot and Battlefield play. I think I will hang out there. I'd imagine that game is going to be pretty good. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Just before last point of this. So it's the same thing with Garfield though. Feast or Famine. They have blowout losses to Gainesville and Battlefield on back-to-back nights, or back-to-back games, and then they blew out Unity Reed and Freedom. So
yeah, Garfield. You know, just last thing on Garfield too. Like in Gainesville, I was very impressed with if they took Garfield's lunch money in that game. Just to be honest with you, from the get-go, it was never close. So. But, you know, and they came back next week and they could barely get past the 50-yard line against Battlefield. But then last week, you know, the Red Wolves, they showed the talent they have. I know it was against the downtrodden Freedom squad, but putting up 74 points is impressive.
Oh yeah,
so they have studs there. You know, we'll see again. Colgan's defense has been pretty impressive, and I would say 3 out of their 4 matchups. But overall, it's a fun matchup. You know, I would expect whoever wins not to win more than 7 points. Be a close game.
Yeah, and I mean, and remember that's to tell you, I don't want to judge any team that's got to play Gainesville and Battlefield back to back. Right, that's a tough stretch.
Right.
Yeah, tough stretch, man.
Talking about if you check out a game, you may want to check out Gainesville Battlefield. That might be a better matchup than Battlefield Patriots.
Oh, look at that! You heard it here first.
Look at that.
Paul Frederick.
And I said it in preseason too on your show. You remember that? I said Gainesville over Patriot.
You did. It's funny you say that. The further along we go, and we'll see. We are going to do some Swami predictions in the next couple of weeks coming up, kind of making some early playoff predictions. But I'm leaning Patriot in that one. We'll see. It'll all play itself out.
Okay.
But I think that's
next week, October 10th, Gainesville at Patriot.
That's the big. I mean, that is the big 3 out there. I mean, it's them 3 and nobody else.
Yep. You know what? I might make that trip out there for you guys and cover that game. I think that'll be fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Get your popcorn ready. And also, you may get stuff thrown at you by the Patriot fans who might hear you taking them over there. You might be the most hated man.
Yeah, you guys are getting a lot of views. That's a good point. I noticed that. I might. That's interesting. You guys are getting a lot of numbers with these podcasts. That's a good point.
Hey, you tell them you're the Adam Schefter, and even Adam Schefter sometimes is called the Broncos fan. It's okay. It's okay.
Let me tell you, that was so much fun. Like, people coming up to me, like, at the Lake Braddock game in particular, saying, "Oh, you're Adam Schefter. We love Nova. We love you on Nova High School Sports on that show, man.
You're kidding me.
Great." I'm like,
oh,
it's hilarious.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
No,
I love it.
It was just a fun atmosphere, and I write it for PrepRedZone. I've written about those Lake Braddock guys a lot. like I'm talking about like Trent Payne and Kai Austin and Xavier Maine, in their defense. I did write about Lake Braddock a good bit and a lot of player evaluations to the point where some of my PrepRedZone colleagues said I was a Lake Braddock homer. So that's another story. Nothing to do with you guys, but it's been a lot of fun, with the recognition you guys are getting and what PrepRedZone's getting. This is a great connection. And
we've enjoyed being able to collaborate with you, Carl. It's been awesome, man. You're a good guy too, man. We like you.
I appreciate that.
Dash not so much. Dash talks really bad about you behind your back, but I always defend you, so I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, that's all good, man. Hey, how's Aiden doing?
He's doing good. I appreciate you asking that. I went over and I saw him play this past week. We played at it was homecoming for Washington Jefferson. They played Carnegie Mellon, lost in a heartbreaker. But then Aiden, freshman, he beat all the freshmen and sophomores out. He's the starting JV quarterback. And
I heard that doesn't surprise me. That's cool.
And, it's good guys don't always finish last. You know what I'm saying? And he won that job and got to start against Mount Union. Sorry, man. I was thinking, okay, who's the Kansas City Chiefs of Division III football, right? Mount Union.
Yeah. No big deal, right? Sure,
right. No kidding, fine. Right? A bunch of 25-year-olds on their JV team. It was fun to watch, though, man. It was we were up, and Aiden had us up to 7-0 at halftime, and then and we ended up, we lost in a close game, but still, it was impressive to watch. W&J is also, I mean, they're a top 25 program, but Mount Union is a top 5 program.
Oh yeah, and they always have been.
Yeah. So it's just, and I think Coach Sirianni, I think is a Mount Union grad, so I think he likes that matchup. He likes setting up that matchup for W&J.
Yeah, I was in a good mood till you talked about the Eagles. Now I'm in a bad mood.
Oh. Well, that I do like. And speaking of Coach Sirianni, he was probably not in a good mood on Sunday afternoon while he was coaching that JV game.
Yeah, I mean it's I'm glad the Eagles have I'm the big Eagles fan I am. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but it's good that they have the bye week this week. They just need to get healthy. That was rough.
We're about to talk West Po Fairfax. You want to stick around? Do you need to go?
Yeah. I'll stick around for that. No problem.
So I mean, you watched Fairfax play last week, so I figure you'd be the perfect guy to talk about the fifth game. It's the fifth game of our Fab Five. West Po Fairfax. Carl, tell us, what do you think about that one, buddy?
So I liked what Fairfax was doing until last week. I liked the way they were projecting offensively, and then last week going to Lake Braddock, they just had a lot. They didn't play bad. I mean, but early on they did. They had a lot of bad miscues. They had a fluke fumble off the kickoff return. And they were down in a hole 21-0 in the blink of an eye, but then they made it a game and they got things going the way they wanted to offensively with that ground and pound. And I think Nick Murad's looking more comfortable at quarterback. I really do. But they don't take care of the football. They do turn the ball over a lot, but they're still defensively, they're right up there with some of the big dogs in Northern Virginia. They're still really good defensively.
Yeah, that D line is so darn good, and that middle linebacker. I mean, they're the young Ben Taylor, and then the 2 D linemen. They're beasts.
Davin Tolson is playing as good as any D lineman. He gets after it for 52. He's a good one. Travis McClain playing really well. Yeah, the Fairfax defense is still humming along. They didn't play bad in that game too. I mean, Lake Braddock. A lot of people may not know this, but they, Kai Austin barely played. Tyrone Jackson hurt his ankle early in the game. He's going to be fine. I talked to him afterwards, but he was banged up. But Lake Braddock didn't, I know they scored, I believe, 35 points, but a lot of it was set up on turnovers and change possessions, short fields, things like that. And also Lake Braddock has a dude by the name of Trent Payne, who is a bad man on that D line. I don't know if you guys have seen Trent Payne play, but he is a bad shooter. He's a good one.
I know the Lake Braddock coaches are really high on him. Yeah, they like him a lot.
But
Trent Payne is about my height. I'm trying. not to talk too much about Lake Braddock, but Trent Train, if he was 6'4", he would be a Division I rep right now. He would have multiple Power 5 offers, but because he's my height, he has a couple of PWOs, which he's well deserved, but he deserves more, in my opinion. He is as good as it gets along that D line for the Bruins.
Yeah, Coach Crush he's mentioned that to us. But real quick, just before because we got Braddock coming up with Woodson, with Fairfax. They came storming back in that Braddock game, and
right.
I think they're gonna have something to prove. I think against West Potomac, and this is West Potomac coming off of a lot of people might have said the upset of the week against Robinson.
Yeah, I mean it's another game that playoff implications really could be on the line, especially the Lions coming into that game against Lake Braddock. Like I said in my fearless forecast, which it's trending upward. By the way, I don't know if you guys have been looking at the picks, but I'm getting better. I'm above 500, I think. But before the Lake Braddock matchup, they were a couple of Dellen Jones Moss plays away from being undefeated. We talked about it. I mean, Fairfax should have been 4-0 going into that game, but that is what it is. They were 3-1. Now you're sitting at 3-2 because of all those early mistakes. I think if Fairfax just comes out and takes care of the football, they'll be fine in this matchup personally. But West Potomac, they're not going away. They don't care about Fairfax's history either. That's a fun matchup.
West Potomac really needs a win right now. I mean, they're
do.
they're rolling. They were doing all right. It looks like they're rolling along, and now they have the loss against Robinson. They lose another one that's 2 district losses, and now they've got to start worrying about playoff seeding, right? Where they're gonna end up at. So I know they're really looking at this win. On the flip side, Fairfax, after losing that game to Braddock, now their road to a district title not nearly as easy as it was going to be if they'd have got that win on Friday night, right? Because now we keep on talking about where they're trailing Braddock, by I think they have an even record, but because Braddock has a win, now they've got to worry about where they're going to fall at, still trying to get a chance at a district title.
Let me say this, and I know we're going to play Swami coming up in the next week or two. I'm going to just take a little peek right now and tell you how important this game is for West Potomac. 2 wins is not getting you in the playoffs, okay? Even with the national on that side, it's not getting you in. And they have the win against Centreville. Remember, they were stormed out of week 1, but they have the game against Centreville coming up. They won the game against Centreville. They have this game, must win. Let's just say they don't win this game. Let's just hypothetically say they don't win it. They have AC coming up in a few weeks. That would get into 2 wins. They have Woodson. That might get into 3 wins. And Mount Vernon. I mean, if they don't beat Mount Vernon, which is not a gimme, that they are a 3-win team and they're probably not making the playoffs. That's crazy.
And that's the week that they're going to play 3 games in 7 days.
Right.
Right. They're gonna.
Oh
play,
wow! Looking at that
Friday
now,
game, a Monday game, and then a Friday day game again.
Right.
How'd that happen?
It was the rain out in week 1.
Yeah, they decided to push the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at their schedule on MaxPress. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? This is weird. But now I see what you're saying. That's bizarre.
They would need to win 2 of. It's actually worse than that. You can add a 4th game in there. It's like it's 4 games in like 11 days.
Okay.
Because it's the 25th to the 29th from the AC game to Mount Vernon. So it's actually that's 4 games there. And they have to win 3 of those final 4 games probably to make the playoffs.
That's wild.
It's going to be fun down the stretch to see who gets that. I've been peeking ahead that 7 and 8 seed and I know I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that 7 and 8 seed in that region is going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Well, I still like West Potomac's battery with Dom Sanchez and Grant Maloney. I think that's as good as a wide receiver quarterback combo as there is, in the area. I mean, Grant Maloney is pretty electric.
I like Sanchez last year a lot. I haven't had a chance to watch a ton of their film this year, but Sanchez looked like an FCS level quarterback when I watched his tape. It was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a quarterback and a receiver, you always got a puncher's chance.
Yeah. But
yeah, I still like Fairfax's chances in this matchup. To be honest with you, I think they were just a couple of boneheaded mistakes early in that game. Like the second play of the game, Lake Braddock had a freshman rip the ball out of Moment's hand for a score that and dropped right into Xavier Mank's lap that he returned for a touchdown. I mean, right off the bat, it was 7-0. Then they fumbled the ensuing kickoff.
Yeah.
And then set up Lake Braddock like right at their 15-yard line, I believe. And just within the blink of an eye, they were down 21-0, and then they started to play, and they made it, a 28-21 game, and it looked like they were really seizing control. But then, like I talked about earlier, Trent Payne took over, and he was a man amongst boys. That's one of the more impressive performances I've seen from a D lineman in quite some time. But this match, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, let's do this then. Let's get into it. All right. We got best of the rest coming up. That was our Fab Five, and leading off with best of the rest, a game that Coach Mesa is going to be at himself. If you want an autograph, come see Coach Mesa. He'll take a picture with you. He'll do all that stuff. And this feeds right into what you were just talking about with Payne. We'll start off best of the rest. Lake Braddock at Woodson. So let's get into it.
yeah, so this game is not a favorite game of mine. It brings back really bad memories of me lying face down in the Braddock turf.
Oh no,
this was a game.
that's where it happened.
That's where it happened at Lake Braddock. Coach Dash could have warned me they were coming. He did not. He sat there twisting his evil mustache as I'm going to get hit.
I think I might have put you in front of me.
Well, actually, so I know we want to talk about the game. Coach Dash thought I was messing around as I'm lying on the ground. He thought I was just playing it up.
Dang, Coach. That's kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie.
He tells me as my leg is dangling out of my pants, just dangling there. I thought you were kidding.
Did I pulled the old Dumb and Dumber, Mr. Manolino? Are you okay? I mean, I didn't know, buddy. I sorry. I thought you were just goofing. Thought it was a goof.
But getting back to this game,
that's kind of funny.
Woodson right now is struggling. Woodson right now is struggling, and Lake Braddock, but Lake Braddock has to continue to keep their lead in between these other schools, right? So, as much as I think people are going to downplay, how this game's going to go. There is pressure on Lake Braddock to try to pull us around, and this is somewhat a rivalry game. I mean, this is a rivalry game. I mean, Coach Dash went to Woodson, and he knows. I mean, those schools are a stone's throw away from each other, right? I mean, they're really close. A lot of these kids know each other growing up. A lot of them play BYRC. Sports together, right? They play.
Well, I got something for you. I got some little fun fact for you there, Mason.
Go ahead, I'll lay it on
rivalry. So we got Coach Doc, who's a former Woodson, teacher and coach, obviously, and who lives in the Woodson district, and great guy and friend of the program, all that stuff. And got Coach Pilson at Woodson, who is a Lake Braddock alum.
Oh yeah, that's right. So there are a lot of inside stories there. You never know, man. Woodson's got some playmakers. They got some kids who fight really hard, and I think this game might be a little more interesting than people think.
Score was 14-14 at halftime last year. 14-20, maybe.
Might have been 21-14.
21-14 was a close game at halftime last year. Yeah. Braddock obviously, pulled away, made the right adjustments, and pulled away. But it was a dogfight for a half, and hopefully Woodson can kind of, like you always say, just get me to halftime. Give me halftime.
Give me halftime, and I'll figure it out.
Thing is, guys, you got to notice too. Lake Braddock, you guys are right. Coach is right about they can't take their foot off the gas. They already have 2 losses. They can't really afford any slip ups, but they are pretty banged up. Like I talked about earlier, Tyron Jackson. He seems to be settled in as the starter, and he came up a little limpy, I believe, in the first quarter with his ankle, and I think he's going to be okay, but he's not 100%. Kai Austin is not, the William & Mary commit, one of the most explosive receivers in the state. He's not 100%. A couple other guys, they were pretty banged up in that whole game against Fairfax, and got even more banged up. So keep that in mind too. Woodson, could pounce on that. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a game 2 years ago. You were on staff, Mesa, at the time, and I mean, it was I think a winless Woodson team going against Braddock, very similar situation.
Billy Edwards, Billy Edwards, the current the what you call it, the Maryland quarterback, right?
Right. I think
Sure.
that game at half was tied 21.
It was tied. Yeah.
Now they pulled away. But again, it was a dogfight for a half. So we've seen some of these teams. We've seen them go at it before.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, moving.
All right, guys. Well, now, do you want me to do one more?
We love
you can
having
hang
you on,
around as
buddy.
long as you want. Hang around as long as you
All
want.
right. All right. Give me one more, then I got to get back to these articles.
All right, we're gonna go one more. I was gonna go for
Is there a game you like?
Yeah, is there anything you like that we haven't said?
Hold on. I was just checking the schedule.
I was
Was
going
gonna
to say, I was going to say this one. I think it's the best. I think it is the best of the rest. I think it's Centreville at Yorktown is the best of the rest by far. Actually.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like Yorktown on that one a lot. I mean,
Centreville's coming off a big win. They're coming off a big win.
yeah, they are. And QB is playing really well. What's his name again? I'm drawing a blank about the quarterback for Centreville.
Shields.
Okay. Yeah. He's playing well. I mean, that is a big win over Oakton. Kind of a surprising win, too,
Yeah.
to being honest. Because Oakton was playing. I know you guys have talked about that a lot, too. I still like the makeup of Yorktown. I know they've been scuffling a little bit, and they had that heartbreaking overtime loss to an underrated West Springfield team, by the way. I mean, West Springfield had the rough go of it out of the gate, but they're going to start finding themselves offensively. I like Yorktown at home in this matchup. I think Drew Morgan, who's getting some more Division I opportunities, he had the PWO offer from Mercyhurst the other day. Congrats
Yeah,
to
I
him.
saw that. Congratulations to that young man.
Yeah, he's a good one. Brady Owens, still really high on him. He's a stud tight end. He got an offer from Appalachian State earlier this year. He's an all-world tight end. I think Yorktown bounces back in this one.
And still searching for that big win, huh, Mesa?
Yeah, still sitting at 299. He's got the odometer. That's sitting at 299. Yeah. Needs that one more win to get to 300. Do you know?
This is perfect timing. No, I said it's perfect timing. They're back at home. They've had these heartbreaking losses.
Yeah.
Perfect timing to get his 300th win.
I was gonna say Woodson's been open since 65. I think. Am I right? 65. They only have 326 wins total, where Bruce Hansen has a chance to get to 300 wins by himself. I mean it just kind of goes to show, and it would be nice. I'm sure he would have rather have had the 300 win already, but I think it would be nice, right, to be able to honor him at home and get that win number 300 there at home. But Coach Shields is a championship level coach. Centreville's coming off a really hard fought win against
11 angry men.
Yeah, that defense was lights out. I mean, that defense was so good.
Led by the mystery man.
Yeah, led by the guy who we still don't know his name.
Nice job
player of the
getting
week.
Nice job getting back to us there, our Centreville audience.
But yeah,
what's the number? I can find it.
We don't know who had the pick six that won the game against
Centreville
against Oakton last week. Who we don't know.
Let me see if I can find that.
Who was that masked man?
Hold on.
Yeah, no, go for it. Go for it. That's that. I mean, but that Centreville team though. That Centreville team is. And look out because they got talent. And if they start coming on now, if they pull this game out and you go they beat Oakton and Yorktown back-to-back weeks, I think you got something on your hands now. We were talking about who's going to be that third team in Concord.
Yeah.
And we said Oakton 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe we were wrong, but maybe it was, it was Centreville all along. It was you, Fredo. It was you all along, Fredo. Could have been Centreville.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm looking up some stats. Pick six, right?
Yes.
Jordan Simpson, number 1, a junior. I'm going off Max Preps right now.
That's it. Jordan Simpson. Congratulations. The player of the week, leading the defense.
Not Bart Simpson, not Homer Simpson, but the little less known Jordan Simpson.
Jordan Simpson, outstanding. And so
Look
you
at
know,
Carl.
what?
Look at Carl. Look at Carl being able to pull that out.
That's why
Well,
you are Adam Schefter.
think about it. Yeah, I'm proud of it, but keep in mind this is a Max Preps. I got this from Max Preps.
How did we go to Max Preps?
I love them, but what's that?
We are such amateurs at this. Why did we just go to Max Preps?
Because so many teams don't update Max. A lot of teams don't update Max Preps.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you why.
They don't.
I don't think it was updated when you and I were looking at like the next day, like right after the game. But if
Like
coaches got us their
them.
if coaches got us their stats, the way some coaches do, some coaches are great about getting us their stats.
Langley sends us their stats every week.
Phenomenal.
That's awesome.
They send their stats every week.
The Overtons have been really good about sending.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Overtons have been good about sending them. Yorktown's been good in games. I mean, some schools have been better than others. But you're right. I mean, if we would have waited a couple of days, but by the time we did the show, kind of honoring that the player and the defense, it hadn't been updated yet, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully,
Hopefully
it
the depends on the school, man.
Hopefully, the Overton sends a stat when they play someone for real.
Oh, you son of a gun! You hear that? You hear that, Jeff?
Riverdale Baptist.
Son of a
Isn't
gun.
that coming up? When's the Riverdale Baptist matchup? That's what I keep hearing.
Coach Mesa won't be happy till Hayfield's playing the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football. That's what Mesa wants.
I love it.
I just like the strongly worded DMs I get. From one of my favorite DCs we have out there. I enjoy that.
I will. He doesn't even need to do it this week because you know what? I'm going to say it for him. You're a real jerk, buddy. You're a real jerk. As Marv Levy said, the great Coach Levy, Hall of Fame Coach Levy said, you know what, Mesa, you're an over-officious jerk.
Yeah, he's getting personal, Coach. There you go. No wonder you guys are getting so many views and getting appearances on Chad Ricardo's show. You get all these budding rivalries.
They know it's all love. They know that.
Yeah, no, it's
all. I like Hayfield. I like coaches. I like the class.
Northern Virginia football is so much fun from like an outsider covering it these last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I love where it's from, like Lancaster, PA, LL football, Lancaster Lebanon League. It's good football, but there's not nearly as much drama or fun podcast shows that quote movie references. They don't have any of this over there.
It's what we do.
Well,
hey,
I'll
Carl,
have my forecast earlier than normal. I want to add a few more games.
We have a 4-day weekend, so don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about me trying to sit during my planning period trying to get that stuff knocked out. So
Carl. Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show, talking about breaking the games down. Anything you want to kind of let the audience know about that you're going to be posting?
Oh yeah. I mean, I always appreciate the love we get on the PrepRedZone Virginia site. I did want to say it just came about, and thanks for the opportunity. I just got the announcement from PrepRedZone that they're going to have another showcase in Virginia for the first time, I believe, ever in Harrisonburg. So I'll be promoting that. Check out my Twitter page. If kids are interested, because I know people are listening to your show. If they're interested, have them reach out to me, for any type of discount or coupon codes. The showcases are real good events that PrepRedZone does. They're great opportunities where colleges from all over the East Coast come and watch kids run the 40, do one-on-one drills, do the broad jump. A lot of opportunities, and it leads to kids getting offers too. It's not me trying to promote the business. I've seen it happen. So I'll be promoting that a lot here. That'll be up in Harrisonburg, I believe, in January.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's all. Well, Carl, thanks so much for joining us today, buddy. I can't wait to hear the breakdown.
Absolutely.
Follow Carl Frederick on Twitter, on any other platforms, PrepRedZone, and he'll be live tweeting Madison and SoCo on Friday night.
Yes, sir. I'll be live tweeting now. I have my kiddos with me. They're gonna check it out. We always love the hospitality that the South County Stallion faithful show us. It's a great time there. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I'll have my Frederick's Fearless Forecast. I'll have that to you soon.
Looking forward to it.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Carl.
All right, guys. Thanks again for having me on. Keep it up. I loving the show, man.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, take care.
All right, later.
All right, and that's. I
partner.
mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It was great having Carl on. He's the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. Little Bret Hart reference right there, and he is the Adam Schefter of Nova, 100%.
It's always good to have him on. It's always, I always like his insight. It's always awesome to have him on.
The best in the business. All right, let's finish this best of the rest. Speaking of that,
We'll go machine gun style through here.
Yeah. Let's get right to it. Speaking of which, and we're just talking about the Coach Overton and company, Falls Church at Hayfield. That clock will be running. Your boy Colgan's gonna have a chance to see it for real this time. What do you think?
I mean they played Debbie No Close for a little while, so they're an emergent program. I know they've got a really lot of young guys playing on their team, but it gives them a chance to test their mettle against what is arguably, if not the best team in the state, one of the best teams in the state. So I'm sure Coach Colgan and staff will take on that challenge rather well of being able to measure themselves. And meanwhile, Hayfield's going to continue to kind of sharpen themselves as they go through their schedule.
They got Riverdale Baptist. They got Riverdale Baptist coming up.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, like you were making a point last week, it is going to be, and you talked to Coach Overton about this a few weeks ago on, finding ways to stay sharp and keep everyone focused when you know that you're not going to be facing, you got a few weeks for the playoffs still, and you've got games that are not going to maybe bring the best out of your players. How are challenging ways to figure that out?
Yeah, but it seems like they're sharp every game, right? I mean, every game they come out, they're going. They've got their guys prepared and ready.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. It's impressive. All right. Up next, we got Lewis at Edison. That's actually a good game. I mean, Edison's 0-4. Lewis has the one win.
Well, and as of right now, Lewis is in the playoffs. I mean, they got a chance. I mean, get another win, right? I mean, they're going to keep themselves kind of in it, especially as they get into district play. This is a chance. I mean, who knows, right? That there are spots that are still up for grabs, and if Lewis can work themselves through it and get some more wins, we may see Lewis in the playoffs. Yeah,
I mean, Coach Choates is a good coach, and I like to see him kind of find a way to get there. Yeah, absolutely. And winning a game like this is going to be key to doing that. Yeah. All right. We got South Lakes at Chantilly. Both teams coming off losses, but tough games for both of them. Yeah. South Lakes lost the Battle of Reston. Chantilly coming off a tough game against Madison. They had back-to-back. They had Hayfield and Madison back-to-back. So, Chantilly trying again, another chance from a jockey in some playoffs. They've got to get a win, right? You got to get a win to keep yourselves from being close to the chopping board. And South Lake's struggling a little bit, but we'll see. Right as we get into district play, both teams are kind of familiar with each other. We'll see how that game goes. Yeah. It's actually a big rebound game for both teams. All right, moving on. We got Justice at Mount Vernon. You and I were talking about Mount Vernon being they're sitting there. I know Lewis right now has the 8th seed. Yeah. Mount Vernon is ready to pounce. This is a big game for Mount Vernon. They have to, right? They can't keep on letting games get by them, because if they do, they'll be on the outside looking in, right? Yep. So I see Mount Vernon, kind of this is their opportunity to kind of stake claim that outside of Hayfield, they are the premier team in national. Yeah, I think so. All right, we got AC coming off a big win with their man Christian Okoye at running back. It looked like, and the way he ran for almost 300 yards the other day. Player of the week. Yeah, is that Duarte looking phenomenal? Yeah. And going against the Cardiac Kids, my friend, led by Brian Sipes and Ernest Biner. Another contrast of styles, right? The high flying West Springfield, led by of course they have White. And then at quarterback. And Walrath at quarterback. It's getting late. Walrath at quarterback. Should be pretty good. But, beware of a team that's coming off a win, right? I mean, now all of a sudden they got a little momentum behind them. They've got a really good running attack. So I think it should be an interesting game, I think, at the very least. I think so, too. Keep an eye on AC's running game look pretty good. They're going to want to slow things down, right? Yeah. All right. We got Wakefield, the up and coming, like you remember Jim Powers? The old wrestler, Jim Powers and Paul Roma. They were the young.
Oh, they were
Stallions.
the young stallions, right?
And if you know, you know. Jim Powers
Hmm.
for like it seemed like 15 years. Gorilla Monsoon would say. Then the young and up and comer,
Yeah.
Jim Powers. He was always young and up and coming, even when he wasn't young and up and coming anymore. Well, I think the young and up and coming Wakefield, and I'm going to keep saying that because every team that plays them says I'm impressed with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So this, I think a few months ago people would have said it's a gimme for Westfield, but I think Wakefield's going to have something to say about that.
yeah, with some athletes over there, I think it should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Another measuring stick game, right?
For sure. All right, and that kind of rounds up things on the east side, buddy, on the east side. But we got some action happening on the west side. All right, go west, heading over to PW.
Yeah.
All right, we go west, and starting that off, we got Hilton looking to rebound against Potomac, who is also looking to rebound.
Yeah.
Interesting little matchup here.
Yeah, I think it should be an interesting matchup between the two, right? Two teams kind of trying to find themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
We're both big fans of Coach Van Acker over there, so I think that I think it could be a pretty interesting matchup, and who knows, right? I mean, last year I know Hilton struggled a little bit with Potomac Senior, but I think Potomac Senior is struggling a little bit right now. So I think you have two teams that are kind of searching the way for a win, and
yeah,
I think it should be pretty interesting.
I know, this time of year, some teams are kind of snake bitten with the injury bug and that kind of thing. Haven't spoken to the Potomac guys, but I know talking to VA, they've been kind of snake bit with that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But again, a rebuilding program.
Right.
I'm sure Coach Van Acker will have those boys ready to go.
Always. All right, we've got Forest Park, who made a debut on Mesa's power rankings. Forest Park going against Freedom Woodbridge.
Yeah, so Freedom Woodbridge, they're fielding a team out there. They're getting some boys out there to play. I don't think anybody from Prince William listens to us. I have seen, and I just want to speak about this really quickly. I have seen some kids from Freedom players talking bad about themselves, and I come on, guys, you can't do those kind of things.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't be self-deprecating. You are should anything be celebrated the fact that you are continuing on the tradition, trying to bring that program back around. The last thing you want to do is, and I think it's easy sometimes when you feel embarrassed to kind of say, we do suck and we're terrible. Don't do that. Don't do those. I know it's tough. I know there's guys on that team that last year were undefeated, destroying everybody, and now feel like, that they're not. But don't do that to yourselves. Just keep on going out there, fighting the good fight, and enjoy playing high school football, and enjoy playing football because this may be the last few times that you ever get to do that. So, I didn't want to stand my soapbox. I know we're supposed to talk about football, but I really hope that if anybody hears us from Freedom Woodbridge, or, if you know some kids over there, kind of tell them, one, be supportive of them, and two, don't do that to yourselves. And, Forest Park is a tough team, and is it going to be a tough matchup? Yeah, it is. But, going through pride and play hard, Forest Park, I like a lot. I like the way they how physical they are, but, hopefully Freedom goes in there and puts in a fight.
Well, and I like that message, buddy. That's appreciated to hear that. And you're not only speaking to Freedom Woodbridge. There's a lot of programs like that, and I'm sure a lot of coaches out there who are listening who know of a program like that where the kids are down on themselves. Kids, maybe don't want to play, because you got kids at the school. Oh, you suck, or whatever it might be. You hear that, and from the student section, they're supposed to be supporting them. This happens a lot. It's sad, and it's like take pride. Don't tune that out. I always say one of the many lessons of football, on top of just being a game that you're supposed to love anyways, and have fun playing. Have fun playing it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's short lived. The other one, it's a microcosm of life, right? And there's going to be there's going to be tough times, and sometimes you need to get through it. Right? How many times, we all get up in the morning sometimes and, maybe you're tired, maybe you're not feeling well, maybe you don't want to go to work or whatever it might be, but you power through it, So there's going to be tough times. I mean, just get through it, right? There'll be better days ahead on the field and in life. So don't let that negative talk get you down.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are pulling for you guys at Freedom.
Yeah, for sure.
We hope to see you guys do well, and so good luck on Friday night. And
yeah,
it's pretty tough Forest Park team.
All right, Battlefield powerhouse out there versus Unity Reed.
Wait, oh no, it's that's Battlefield versus Eugene. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another tough matchup. Battlefield, who's right there, but right behind Madison. When I go see them play, I've gone to see them play. They're really physical. Unity Reed though is playing pretty well, pretty good football right now. They have some key wins. It's going to be a big test for them. But
Who did Battlefield beat last week? You have that up there? I forget.
Battlefield beat. Ooh, I don't.
My brain is mush sometimes, my friend. I know they won big. I'm just trying to remember who they beat.
Oh, they beat Freedom South Riding.
Freedom South Riding. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
on a Thursday night.
That's right. That was the early game because of the rain, the storms.
Yeah,
they played early.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good Battlefield team, really good Battlefield team, and we've said it before. Teams like Unity Reed has some talent though. We've seen some of their games this year.
Yeah.
So don't judge them on a versus one of the best teams in the state. Unity Reed's a good team.
Yeah.
All right. Osborne versus Freedom South Riding. Our friends at Freedom South Riding.
I think it should be a pretty good game. I think Freedom South Riding has a pretty tough games.
I think so too. I think it's a really good game. Actually,
Battlefield, Riverside, Patriot, 3 games in a row. They're pretty tough games. I think that the Osborne, an improved Osborne team, but all respectfully, not necessarily at the level yet of a Battlefield. So I think this should be a pretty good game.
I agree. That's actually next to the Garfield Colgan game. I'd say that's the second best game in PW of the week.
Probably. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so too. So good luck to both teams. All right, and then finally rounding out our PW matchups, you got Osborne Park, the other Park. Osborne Park against Patriot.
Yeah, so
I think Patriot, by the way, is the second best team, who had a chance to be the first best team in PW.
Yeah, I think we both disagree. And I know that Carl likes Gainesville, but man, Patriot's pretty good.
Yeah.
Osborne Park struggling a little bit, but go out there. Give
Same message we just gave. Just gave Freedom.
Yeah, and take your swing, right? Take your swing. Take your best shot. Take your best shot. Go out there and give it everything you got, and who knows?
Yeah, Rocky versus Apollo. You got to know there's nothing to lose.
Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, I'll tell a story really quick. So my last years out in California, I was coaching at my alma mater in Long Beach, and we had a freshman team that went 0-10. They went 0-10. When they were seniors, they broke the streak against Long Beach Poly that had multiple Division I athletes, and they beat them in double overtime. They went from being an 0-10 freshman team to knocking off one of the premier programs in the country of all time, right? They had the most players drafted. I know Coach Dash and I disagree with that. I know Fort Union, which is a prep school.
Well, I'm not the one who said Fort Union. That was a colleague of ours a few years ago. It wasn't me.
Which is a prep school, which means
wasn't me, but yeah.
Which you can be in the 13th grade and play there.
13th grade, buddy. Okay.
Yeah. So they were able to knock off a powerhouse school when they were seniors. So I mean,
now, granted though, not that some of those guys at the school you're referring to, some of them were the same age as the 13th graders.
They were not. Absolutely not. I will not take any Long Beach slander on this place.
Oh yeah. Me and the Overtons are going to gang up against you, buddy. Look, that's a heck of a breakdown. Heck of a week 6 breakdown.
Week 6. We are past the halfway point. We're past the halfway point.
We are past the halfway point. This is the fantastic week 6 breakdown.
Makes me sad that we're past the halfway point.
Well, I mean, it's coming. It's coming fast. That train's coming.
Actually,
Johnny Cash said it.
My favorite football months are mid-October to November. Those are my 2 favorite football months because December hits and it's like bowl games and now college football playoff might make it a little more exciting.
Yeah,
but I'm like, it's kind of because December you can feel it winding down, right?
Yeah,
you can feel it winding down, right? In the NFL, teams are starting to be out of it, So yeah, this right now. October to end of November are my favorite football times. More than the opening weekend, more than playoffs in January. This is my favorite football time.
Well, here we are, week 6, games coming up. I'll be at a game, you'll be at a game, maybe we'll be at the same game. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun night. We got Carl Frederick at Madison, South County. We'll all be live tweeting all of the action.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, from Coach Dash and Coach Mesa, we will see you guys next time on All Hitches.
See ya.